Well, apologies. We seem to be having some kind of technical difficulties. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but anyway, we're going to try and muddle on through because apparently the stream is actually working. Just for some reason, it's not popping up on social media, etc. Anyway, it's the Blue Hair K, and in typical fashion of doing things a little bit late, as it were, we're actually celebrating our 1 year anniversary. It's fantastic, actually. Yeah, PuyoGB is 1 year old, and I'm actually quite surprised at that myself. So we can see, in the meantime, is there's just going to be a slideshow montage of like the different posters that have been contributed by community members to showcase what we've done. There's events that are in there, the PuyoGB League track poster, and you'll also see a screenshot to our coffee page. Okay. It's not working. Oh, okay, apparently it is working. Let's have a look and see if it is. Oh, it is! Okay, that's fine. Oh, no, we don't want that. Okay, so yeah, we've been having some issues, but we are now actually working. That's fine. It's just not coming up on our social media feeds. Oh, well, I'll have to manually throw everything out there. Anyway, PuyoGB is 1 year old. I can't believe it. It's quite strange actually that it's a year old. So as I was saying, you'll see a montage, a slideshow of all the different posters that we've done to promote our events, etc. And you'll also see a screenshot to our coffee page. So we have a coffee account, and we use it to see if people would like to help us out when it comes to attending events and things like that. You know, we've done MCM, Comic Con, we've done Play Expo, we've done Geek, we've done Battles in Glasgow, and we want to do more of these events across the country to try and bring Puyo to other people. If you want to help us out, please go to our coffee page. It's ko-fi.com/PuyoGB. Any donation that you put towards the cause we will be extremely grateful for. There's no obligation. We're not saying give us money. That's not how it works. But if you want to see us in your area and you want to help us get there, that's probably the best way to do it, as well as to tell us the information, and then we can research it and see how we can get there. Anyway, apparently it's been half an issue. Let's see if we can fix that. 1 second. Go back. Leave. Right. Okay, so yeah. We are working, and it is working. Okay then. Right, watch page. Actually, don't want to watch it. I just want the. There we go. Okay, I think we're ready to rock and roll. So without any further ado, let's just go in and get ready. So I'm going to unmute myself, and you'll be hearing voices. Okay, maybe you won't be hearing voices, but here we are. So we're going to try this again, muddle on through as best we can. It's there's always something going wrong with the internet, isn't there, guys? I mean,
yeah.
Always. Anyway, so I'm joined by WizKidWaz.
That's me.
By Woomy.
Hello.
And by Super302.
Hello.
So let's get to the nitty gritty. We're a year old, guys. Like, how does that even?
Whoa!
How do you guys feel about the fact that, you know, we've existed for a whole year now?
Happy
crazy.
birthday to us.
Yes, happy birthday to us indeed.
It's really good to see the community grow throughout this whole year.
Yeah,
It's been really good to see how far we've come.
I'd say. Hang on, Wiz.
I think a good thing about like seeing this community grow for years is like me, Woomy, and Super, like all three of us, and I guess you too, K, as well. We are all like part of the Puyo community before PuyoGB was made, Rumi, Super, and we all knew each other from.
I don't even remember.
We met.
We just met.
I mean, we met there. That's how we met.
Yeah.
Well,
Am I wrong?
well, it's funny you should say that because obviously I've been around forever and a day. You know, I've been part of the original Puyo community from way back when. You know, and it's pretty cool to finally see that we have a user base, as it were.
Yeah. Like somewhere where all the British players, well, quote unquote all the British players are together.
Yeah. I'm trying to increase the volume here, see if you guys come through a bit better. There we go. So, what I will ask first of all, so I'll ask each of you for your opinions on the whole thing. I'm gonna start with Wiz first. How have you found PuyoGB as a community? Not how have you found it as in you're a new member. No, you're one of the original founding members of the community. But what is your opinion of PuyoGB as a whole, as a community, as an entity?
Oh, well, it's a really great thing because one of the things I've always wanted ever since I first got into Puyo a little over 7 years ago was to have more British people that played Puyo and more people to talk to Puyo about. I mean, there were the forums, and the forums back then were pretty small as well. And honestly, the Puyo community in general grew pretty big over the years as well. But still, the British community remained very small. Like, again, when I mentioned in the Discord server, by the time Super joined, I pretty much only knew three or four other British players.
Yeah.
Compare that to the almost 100 that we have here within just a year is a pretty big step up. And it's just the fact that like now it isn't such like an exclusive thing, and that there's more people within reach, theoretically, that are Puyo fans. And honestly, I've had the pleasure of meeting, well, except for Super, I've met both Rumi, I've met everyone here. So I've met Kay twice now, I've met Rumi at Manchester. Super, it's gonna happen someday.
Soon.
Yeah, soon TM.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
how about you, Rumi? How have you found PuyoGB as a community?
I found it generally one of the nicest places for Puyo that I've been in. I've only been into it for just over a year now, so almost the same time as this has existed. Well,
Hey.
and after finding this, I've managed to go to conventions and meet other people into Puyo and stuff. I think it's just a really nice place, and I'm glad we have it.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
I'm not the best at this, I'm sorry.
That's
No,
fine.
never mind. I ramble too much is my problem.
Well, yeah, I think we all do sometimes, don't we?
I do it all the time.
All right, Super.
Anyhow,
Every
Super.
time, once in
Go
a
on.
while. But no, for
Super.
me, it's been really nice to, you know, meet a lot of new British players and a lot of people we can play with. And the community itself has been quite really very supportive of its players, and it's really helped to grow me as a Puyo player myself as well. See, I've been playing for what, 1.5 years ish now. Started March last year,
Yeah.
and the time I've been here, it's been really good, and I've met a lot of good new people as well. And I don't know what else to say because I can.
Yeah, well, I suppose I'll talk to you about my experience. Now, this has been a pet project of mine for multiple years. You know, I've always been eager to try and find more Puyo players out there, because back when I was playing, it was me, Elros, Ziplit, Seanock, Vulcan, and that's about it. 5 people. I can count them on one hand. That's
5 people.
Right, that's how barren it was. It was like literally no one was playing Puyo. And then there was like a couple of other people who I found that were like living in my county of Kent who were playing Puyo, but they weren't like engrossed in Puyo like I was. You know, my oldest rival, who goes by the name of Miller, he was pretty much, it was just me and him just jostling to see who was the best Mean Bee Machine player back in the 90s. That was it. It was just, that was just us. It was just us. And Escape Route British, who does sushi bites and things like that. You know, he's not really that active on PuyoGB, but he's an avid Puyo fan and a Draco fan to boot. So any Draco fans out there, Draco represent, as it were. But no, seriously. So for me, it was like I really would like to meet more people within the UK that actually play this game, because back then it was just a handful of people that I knew, and that was it.
And it was a local circle as well, pretty
much. Yeah, pretty much. It was.
You knew was close to you.
Yeah, more than just a local circle. It was just those at school. You know, all these guys were at the same school as I am. You know, and now
all across not just England but also Wales as well.
It's the whole of Britain.
Yeah, pretty much. We're just missing the Irish, I guess.
We've got I was gonna say we've got one person within PuyoGB who's from the Republic of Ireland, but
yeah,
unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, none from Northern just yet. I think we need to get over to Belfast without getting ourselves killed and see if we can get people to come join the cause.
I'm lazy. I'll stay in England.
Anyway, so think about the events that we have done in the past, and I think this one's more going to be aimed towards Wiz and Woomy than you, Super, although I think you can definitely speak with regards to the PuyoGB League. But I want to throw it open to Wiz and Woomy first. The events that we have done in the past, as it were, you know, we've done MTM Manchester. You know, that's pretty much a central one for us. Landing that was a big thing.
That was pretty huge.
Yeah, thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, absolutely amazing. I mean, because like not only was it, I've been to let me find where to start. I've been to Manchester Comic Con before.
Yeah.
I think this year was my third time going. And it's also the first time I went both days as well. So I've been there before and experienced what it's like. But this year it was a completely different experience because we had a stall, and basically now we are managing a stall there. So it's pretty much a very different experience from just being there walking around. And also I was in cosplay for the first time as well. A very amazing cosplay made by my sister and mum for a surprise.
Yeah.
Strange Luke. But yeah.
As we called you Strange Wiz.
Strange Wiz, that I was. And I looked great. But yeah, back to the proper topic. But yeah, having the stand and then being able to, like, having the Famicom set up with Super Puyo 2, having the laptop there with the music and the stream set up and all that, doing the Puyo Tetris and the Puyo 2 tournaments. Puyo Tetris 1, did the final boss one of that. That was great. Brings back memories of PC Gamer Weekend, which we'll talk about later.
Yep.
And then the Super Puyo 2 one, in which I got to participate only because Lucario didn't show up.
Yeah.
I'll have a go at him this Sunday.
But yeah, and then that resulted in it was a very good round one because I was against Rory round one. But then the final set that me and Woomy had there, that was a really good set.
Oh, it was a good game. That was a good game.
It was really good. It was a lot of fun. And there's something about being there and playing it like not online but like local play like that.
Yeah.
It really just makes it so much better than playing it online. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. Woomy, how about you? Do you have anything to add on to that?
Well, not really. It's basically the same thought. It's just like it's really cool that we could have all met up like that. And I'd never run a stand before because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was quite fun, and that was actually my second time being at MC of Manchester. Because I went last year, and funny enough, I was also Strange Glug last year, so
You were Sync this year, so we made a very good parallel.
yeah. It was just really fun.
Yeah, and another thing that was great is because like we were all there for the same reason as well, and so
Yeah.
we had. You wouldn't think it like with Puyo, but we had such like a broad topic to just be able to talk about. We were chatting all day basically.
Whole weekend.
All weekend. it was really great. And I got to crash at Kay's hotel a bit as well.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Basically, it was just myself, Wiz, and Rory in my hotel room, just playing some PuyoGB on the 3DS before Wiz's mum came to pick him up.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
That was fun. I think Rory made up for well, actually he had a really good
Yeah.
he had a really good con. He won. He won the Puyo Tetris tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of got destroyed by you in the Super Puyo 2 tournament.
Yes.
But hey, he came good. He came good when we played in PuyoGB. You know, he pulled ahead and then never looked back.
Yeah, I also beat him as the final boss of the Puyo Tetris one.
Yeah, you kind of curb stomped him that weekend.
Otherwise, when we were playing for the rest of the days that wasn't tournament, we were pretty even as well. We had a very good set of Puyo 2 matches.
I think that's one thing that I enjoyed actually bringing up. I'm glad I didn't duck out last minute and go actually on leaving the Super Famicom at home. It's great bringing that up because we all had some fun playing classic Puyo.
Yeah, I will say it was still slightly weird to control because Puyo 2 doesn't have diagonal inputs. But
I had never touched the Famicom before.
The Super Family, yeah.
First time.
once.
Yeah. That was my first time even seeing one actually in real life.
Well, you got used to it pretty quick.
Yeah. It's a nice controller, I really like it.
Yeah, the Super Famicom controller is a lovely controller to hold. Alright, I'm gonna throw this down to Super. So we were talking about the offline events, but obviously one of the key parts of building the community was the online events. Now, I've done a couple of online events before. We had the PuyoGB Open, which I'll probably talk about a little later on. We brought back Friday night Puyo Tetris, or it was more like Saturday night Puyo Tetris, with the mixed doubles tournaments. They were fun to play. But the big one for us was the PuyoGB League. You know, nothing like this had ever been done before. You know, a massive league in the format that it was. How did you find the league overall, Super? Like, what was your experience with it?
Overall, it was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of fun to be able to play different variations of play styles and just different types of, how do I word this? Play styles and skill. People with varied play styles and skill. It's nice to see where I place up in between everyone. And we just I don't have much words at the moment.
Talking is hard.
It can be hard. It can be hard. Okay,
I'm kind of used to it because I do streams, so.
Well, yeah, same. Sometimes you just gotta keep on with it, as it were. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I suppose with that aside, I'll ask Woomy. I know you. I mean, how did you feel as a spectator? As to say, as a spectator, did you watch any of the league matches?
I actually forgot.
Oh well.
I'm so sorry.
Fair play.
I did see some other people playing, and I did play with others during it, like in my spare time, and I really missed the league. Like, actually missed it.
Hey, Awesome Sports! Thanks for joining the chat. It's Tuffy. Hey, Tuffy.
It gets really fun because you get to play so many different play styles.
Yeah.
And different skill. I just miss it.
Well, there is good news for people that are listening and just thinking about the PuyoGB League. Pretty much all the match videos are on our YouTube channel, so if you're watching this, you can go through the channel, you'll be able to see all the different videos that have been uploaded by all the various adjudicators. Those that I adjudicated have got commentary. I know some of the other videos, like stuff that Booming Signal has done, has also got commentary. Not all of them do, sadly, but those that do, I hope you enjoy the commentary all the same. Just go check them out. And if you're interested in taking part in the next league, there is another league coming up. We'll have details released soon. We've actually got some good feedback from people overall with regards to the league. Mostly positive. There are a couple of things which the common consensus is you can improve on this, which we're going to look into to bring forward for the next league. So hopefully, first league, great. Loads of people. I know that was a bit of a problem, but at least we've got tier brackets now. We've got a beginner league. We've got an intermediate league. We've got a pro league. We'll be able to handle newbies that come into the league and put them based on where their league rating is and their actual league standing based on Puyo Tetris. We can go, okay, so say for example you've got 12,000 points and you're platinum. They'll be like, right, you're going in pro. Whereas you've got like 6,000 in your star, we can go, okay, you're probably an intermediate, lower intermediate player. We'll put you in intermediate. You should be okay there. Whereas if you're just starting out, low dangerous as it is, because there's some people that just start out and they're like absolutely incredible players. Mostly people from Japan. I'm addressing you guys. It's true, it's true. But it's like, we're just going to base it on that, so it should be fairer. You know, won't be as convoluted. You're not playing like 25, 30 other people. Should be around about 10, 12 people, something like that. So yeah, with that, hopefully, that will sort itself out. What else should we talk about, really? Yeah, actually, let's talk about PC Gamer Weekender for a minute. And I was there with Wiz. Lord Elros also came along as the Gecko.
In the universe.
Yeah, the greatest player in the entire universe.
We met Turtle there. I think that's how Turtle knew about PuyoGB as well. That's
Yeah.
How we got into
Yeah.
I believe. I can't remember who else was there actually.
It was Turtle and Steb. Steb joined us as well through. Yeah. So yeah, Wiz, how was that experience for you?
Okay, well, that was the big one, really. For me, I would still view that as like the biggest one. Even though MCM was like a really huge thing, I still think PC Gaming Weekender was the biggest one. Like I said like 5 times now, because well, first of all, it was very much we were invited by Sega. That was the first thing.
Yeah.
So this was straight up a very official event. Second of all, it was an early access to the PC version, which we had crashed a very funny number of times there. Only on the big screen though, which is funny.
Yeah, that was quite hilarious.
The free play setups were perfectly fine, so was the tournament setup.
Oh wait, you crashed the games whilst you were there?
No, the games crashed while we were there.
Oh.
Like no word of a lie. It was almost a literal meme. You're doing the qualifying, it just crashed halfway through.
Yeah, I think it was 6 times.
I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, well, it's because it happened off camera, but
yeah, it was before the streams. Yeah.
Like you have me who can vouch for it. You got Wiz that can vouch for it. Gecko, Turtle, Steb, Lord Elros, even Jolasar could vouch for it.
Yeah. You could also ask Ibs as well.
Yeah, Ibs as well.
Jeez.
But yeah, well, first of all, it was just a really magical thing as well, because like there was also my first ever time going out to a convention like that. I mean, obviously I said I've been to MCM before, but MCM was just like a general thing. This PC Gamer Weekender was first of all specifically focused on games, and second of all a specific section just for Puyo Tetris.
Yeah.
And that, for me, that first time was pretty insane to see, because I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
It was really a big thing, and also the venue was really cool. It was a really cool venue.
Oh, so it was a good venue at the Olympia, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the crazier things was the fact I was able to go down in the first place, because it's all the way in London, and unlike pretty much everyone else here, I'm all the way in the north of England. So like, mad props to my mum and dad for actually getting me down to London and coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
That must
That
be
was-
crazy.
It was absolutely crazy. We drove all the way down to London.
Long journey, but worth it because you
Very,
won.
a very long journey, but very worth it.
Yeah. Well, you won 500 quid's worth of Logitech equipment.
Stuff,
Yeah,
and
it
that's
was
currently in use on my brother's computer.
awesome stuff. Yeah, so
and-
just a bit of background really about the whole PC Gamer weekend event, the Puyo Tetris event that was there. Some of you guys might know of a freelance journalist who goes by the name of Adam Wen. His Twitter handle is @demisanthrope. I did an interview with him for Kotaku UK. It was published on Kotaku UK earlier on in the year. This was picked up by Ibrahim Bhatti, who is the community manager for Sega Europe, who personally got in contact with me and was basically turned around and said, well, we're doing this tournament and we'd love for you guys to come down and take part. And the strangest thing was, I mean, I'm not really into active competition anymore. You know, I play casually, I play for fun. It's pretty much as far as I'm going to go. But I was like, this sounds like a good idea. So I managed to get the founders, really, of PuyoGB. So the three of them are here. Gecko isn't with us at the moment, but
He isn't with us.
he isn't with us.
Gecko's no longer with us. Press F in the chat, everyone. Quick.
No, don't press F in the chat. He's still
No, he's
part of the
alive and well.
community.
He's alive and well. Don't worry about it.
Oh god. Anyway, going back to the main topic at hand. So I extended an invite out to you guys. I mean, unfortunately, Woomy and Super couldn't make it. Logistics,
I
shame.
almost didn't.
Well, yeah, Wiz almost didn't, but you know, your folks took a leap of faith and it paid dividends, so that was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we all arrived at PC Gamer Weekender, and I said to Ibs, I'm not really one that's going to play competitively anymore. Do you want me to go into commentary? You know, I'm an expert at the game. I know the terms inside and out. I can help do play-by-play or colour commentary, you know, whichever one came naturally. And it's like, that's brilliant. So I was sat in the commentary box with Jonasar. That was amazing. You know, that's one thing I absolutely loved. The moment I was sitting next to a professional esports host and commentator, I was like, this is where I want to be.
Commentating Puyo.
Commentating this great game known as Puyo Puyo. This is what I want.
That's in English as well.
Oh, yeah.
And a PC version.
Yep, and an official stream, too.
Yeah, and just an official event as well. Like, going back to just how crazy it all was and how, I guess overwhelming was the word, but overwhelming in a good way.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I'm actually quite stoked with that, because that really was the foundation. You know, we had PC Gamer Weekender at that point, at that day. The day after, we had two events. We had one up in Scotland, Battles in Glasgow. That was done by Lou. I just had a message from Lux saying, "Can you please commentate the World Cup?" Yeah, you know it's going to happen, boy. It will happen, lad. It will absolutely happen. But yes, as I say, so we had two events. We had one up in Scotland at Glasgow that was handled by Lou and Chiefs Affinity. And then the one in Margate that was handled by myself and Nero.
Yeah.
You know, that was the day after. That was a Sunday. And then we had a bit of a quiet period before we landed MCM Manchester. And then during the downtime period, we had the Scottish Esports League, which was brilliant. Yeah, oh no, that was absolutely brilliant. That was one of the best things that's actually happened to us, and hopefully I'll be able to get in contact with Lou to talk a bit more about that. So if that happens, that'll happen on a future edition of the podcast, so stay tuned for that. But definitely, like I say, the PC Gamer Weekender one, the fact that Sega are supporting us, you know, we are endorsed by Sega. They've donated prizes to the community for us to give out to people who have won our tournaments.
Oh yeah, Manchester Comic Con, that did happen.
You know, Manchester Comic Con, that definitely happened. That was just brilliant. And I know that... Sorry, as I know that they're keen to help out some more. So if we're able to get another large event, I'll put it to Ibs and Sega, and I'd say, do you guys actually want to come along? Come and help us out, help us promote the game, because the official presence would then, that'll just really build the community up even more.
Yeah. What I was gonna add on is that, like, along with like giving us the prices and stuff, back at PC Gamer Weekend again after the event, because of the 5 of us, meaning like Rumi, Super, K, me, and Gecko, we were all like invited to go. Rumi and Super didn't make it, but they still, we all got given early copies of the Steam version of Puyo Tetris.
Yeah, we did.
Which also, fun enough, technically means I never bought the PC version.
Well, no, well, actually, I bought the PC version, but I bought it for other people.
Yeah, same here. I bought it for Kusari.
I've never bought the PC version of Puyo Tetris. I'm literally I literally got it for free. Which is a very funny fact that I like to throw in every now and then. But yeah, we got early copies of Puyo Tetris, and that, first of all, first time I really got an early copy of a game that wasn't, oh, your pre-order came in 1 day early.
Yeah.
Which I had happen with the PS4 version of Puyo Tetris. That came in 2 days early, actually.
Mm.
Oh wow.
Well,
yeah, and I streamed it.
Well, the true story was I pre-ordered the physical version of Puyo Tetris, then realised it was going to arrive when I would be on holiday in the Isle of Wight. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to buy it digitally. So I've got 2 copies. I've got a digital copy, which I used in my main game, and a physical copy, which I took with me to Japan last year. I got some of the top Japanese players to sign it within the Shinjuku Carnival Puyo community. And I have to say, those guys out there that welcomed me with open arms, that I was able to spend a couple of days with, they were awesome. You know, I got to meet Tema, that was incredible. I got to meet Puyamaha as well, that was incredible. Shimase Nochi, Amamiya Tayo.
Amamiya!
I mean, absolutely incredible, and I have to say, a shout out to those guys and the Japanese Puyo community, because they reignited the spark, which said, actually, this is something I'm still passionate about. And I think that was the nudge, that was the, you know, the little spark that ignited the fire for me to say, you know what, I'm gonna form the community. So they get a lot of credit for this. They really do.
I think also another thing that led to UK. This is gonna sound like I'm bragging, and I don't intend to mean it that way. This is basically how it went. I think another part that helped. Obviously, you had the idea. Was toying with the idea to make the community for quite a long time, and then I came around basically, or rather, you discovered I existed. Is another way to put it. But that's how it went, because I was obviously when PS4 Puyo Tetris came out, I was making full use of the fact that PS4 could do streaming like built in, and I was streaming the hell out of Puyo Tetris, and especially ranked mode. And around that time, sooner or later, I self-proclaimed myself as the #1. But I had my backup, alright? I had my reasonings, because like every other British player I knew, I had faced them and I'd soundly beaten them. And so obviously with that to go up, like you face every British player you know, and like, well, clearly I'm the best. So back on the topic. So I start doing this. Kay, I don't know how, but like he catches word of it. And so he discovers I exist, and he talks to me about it. It's like, I've had this idea for quite a while, and I want to help like build up communities. There's like anyone you know that could help us like get our feet off the ground as well. And I'm looking, I've actually got our Discord DMs up. I won't say anything too private, but yeah. We talked about like how many people that I knew that actually play Puyo. Obviously like Super and Rumi are ones that I mentioned. There was also Gecko as well. And around this time, that was where we were basically discussing this idea. and eventually Kay makes the PuyoGB Twitter and the Discord server, which then that was the start as well. And
Yep.
so from there on, that's basically how it began. Because I, well, first of all, because I was streaming the game and getting basically the British name out there, and then also being, again, a little cocky, as per is my favorite character being Klug, and self-proclaiming myself. But yeah, because of that, I pretty much played a big part in having Kay actually go ahead with that idea, which I like to think is a pretty damn good thing, eh?
Yeah, no, I'd say so. I'd say so. And I suppose that was what sparked it all to begin with.
I think, Kay, you could probably go on more about the origin story. I mean, you've already mentioned a bit, but like, any details I missed out, really?
What, the origin story? Oh no, the origin story would just be, well, it was only me playing with a few other people. Back during the old community, the old Puyo Puyo Museum, I was one of maybe 3 or 4 people outside of Japan that were actually consistently challenging the higher players in Japan. And while a couple of the other Western players, they were good, they were at that level where they were competing quite nicely with the upper middle, I guess, within the Japanese community. I somehow managed to befriend Kuma-chan by pure chance. And then through playing against him and the other top players like Chemistry and Alf, Squeaker also, back then, I managed to find out exactly where I stood in the pecking order, and quite surprisingly, it was pretty much at the top. And at that point, I was like, "Well, I'm happy now because I've done everything that I need to do. I've challenged the best players in Japan, but I don't think this game's going to progress. It's just going to remain niche, which is such a shame. But I've got to concentrate on uni and my future life, so that's it. Thank you very much. I'm done." Now I'm not in uni anymore, and we're at a point where people know what Puyo Puyo Tetris is. They know what Puyo is through Puyo Puyo Tetris. And we're getting more people in playing. Yeah, we're getting more people in playing now. It's all great.
Yeah, and another thing I'm gonna say on to that is that, like, again, when I was self-claiming myself as #1, is because I didn't really have any other British player that was, well, this is gonna sound really bad. There's no better way to word this stuff. That wasn't really quite to my top level. The closest I had back then was Gecko. But Gecko is still really good, but I would comfortably beat him pretty much 9 times out of 10. And then obviously when PuyoGB came around, first of all I had Kay to finally to contest with.
Yeah.
Once he stopped once the rusty door stops creaking anyway.
Oh, when the rust rubs off and the magic comes through, it's like, well, I can still beat anyone.
Yeah.
You know.
But then also, shout out to Rory.
Oh yeah.
The winner of the PuyoGB League. Actually, I never got to talk about the PuyoGB League for my second, but I'll get on that soon. But yeah, Rory was then like, he was a new big challenge and someone who could really push me to go further as well. Because I'll admit, Kay, like, you probably could have been that point, but my mindset was that, like, because you're retired, I wouldn't have to take it too seriously.
Well, I don't anyway, you know.
Rory came around, I'm like, damn, I gotta keep this up now. And then also other top players came around, so we've got, well, I know this is on the Tetris side of things, but Turtles and Ekans, they come about as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good one, because Ekans joined PuyoGB after taking part in Play Expo.
Yeah, and whilst not British, Keiko, especially within like the last 2 times me and Keiko played, has driven me super close.
Oh yeah, Keiko's turning out to be a really strong player.
Yeah, because we had, first of all, I want to call our Chronicles set that we had that ended 10-9 to me, but I had to claw it back from like 9-7 down. And then in the PuyoGB League, I probably, if it wasn't for Mr. Keiko made, it would have probably been a draw between us two.
Yeah.
But, yeah, speaking of the Keiko and the PuyoGB League, I will say, despite the fact that I played 5 matches less than Keiko, I am proud that I still managed to finish second in the league.
Mm.
I mean, I didn't win it, and rip me, because, you know, the one and all that, but that was really, it was a very good league as well, because I did get absolutely thrashed by Rory, especially during the league, and that was, well, it was something.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, Keiko denied me a bonus point, but the rest of them I pretty much smashed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But-
Rory was unbeaten in the league.
Yeah, Rory had. I'm fairly surprised he had one draw.
Yeah.
Because I thought Rory was absolutely steamrolling it.
He got the Switch version, and that was his undoing, so to speak. But it was a draw. It was a draw. It was a draw against Demon Chew, so you know it's not.
Oh, Demon Chew's pretty good actually.
Yeah,
when
no,
I was
it's
playing
not-
him, I noted he was pretty good.
It's not.
But that's
not-
another thing as well. Like,
Yeah.
there were players definitely who, if I wasn't careful, they could have easily like gotten a draw, perhaps even a win against me. And so I wouldn't know that at first, like after the first round, but before the first round. But after the first round, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to think this through and not play too risky.
Yeah.
Because I will admit, when I'm playing against, like, for example, Booming Signal, sorry Aaron, I would usually try and just be flashy and go for the biggest chains, because that's kind of how I like to play as well, is that I like to put on a good show.
Yeah.
It's something I said at PC Gaming Weekend as well, when I got the 12 chain against Gecko, which I did to him again in the league.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a.
There was a weird habit I had in the league of 12 chaining people first round.
Yeah.
It happened,
Yeah.
I think, in a total of like 6 of my matches, and there was one point where I had 3 sets in a row that started off with a 12 chain. I scored. I scored the highest chain I scored was a 14 chain in the league, which was
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Big
someone got a
stuff.
15 though apparently.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did get a higher chain than Rory though, so that's the one victory I got.
What I will say is, even though we're going to talk about this now, I'm going to bring a couple of other people in a moment. A big shout out to Nero particularly, because he was getting absolutely destroyed by you, and then the last 2 games of the time limit he pulled them back.
Yeah, he took the last 2 rounds. I'm like, ah.
That was just absolutely hilarious.
I didn't actually get that many clean sweeps during the league. I tended to concede like 1 match by every set basically.
Yeah. All right then. So I'm gonna switch out for a couple of other people. I want to say thanks to Super302, to Wiz, and to Woomy for sharing their
You can let us
thoughts.
have final overall thoughts.
Well, actually, yeah. You know what? I will let you have final overall
Hey.
thoughts.
You get to hear more of me, guys, because you clearly haven't had enough.
Wow, I might just kick you out for that.
Ah,
All right, I'm gonna start with Super. Final thoughts.
Oh god.
ah. Deep breaths, Super, deep breaths.
All right, should I? All right, I do. Woomy, you're okay.
Yeah.
Go on then. Final thoughts from you first.
Well, I just wanted to say, Kay, thank you for making this community. It's been wonderful to be a part of it.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Super. How about you?
Thank you for all of it.
So
I hope
yeah,
you can proud
overall,
then.
I've had a lovely time here for the year that we've been here for, and it's been great to be here since the start of it.
Yep.
And as we were saying, thank you very much for creating this lovely community that we were able to be a part of, and I hope the best for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Here. Wiz.
Best for last, obviously.
Oh my god, stop it.
Alright, I'm doing that on purpose. I'm doing that on purpose. That's not actually me.
Go then.
But yeah, back on topic. Yeah, it's been a really crazy year. It's really, I mean, a lot of stuff's happened. The amount that this community has grown, and honestly, it's been a bit of a dream of mine as well. Not only to like just have a good sized British community for Puyo, but also being able to get out there and do events and stuff with Puyo. And it's just I've gotten to meet so many amazing people, amazing personalities. I've gotten to meet Kay as well, which is great.
Hey.
And everyone I've met, whether it's been on Discord or I've actually had the pleasure of meeting them face to face. Soon, Super.
Yeah, soon, TM.
TM.
TM. It's been really great, and honestly, it has been life changing. I know that sounds like a cliche, but it really has, because now I can safely say, and all of us here can safely say, like, we have a connection with Sega, and that's really big deal.
Yeah, that is quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
We just need to wait for our
Crazy.
next event.
We just need to wait for Puyo Esports to get localized, and we will then.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Anyway, thank you to the three of you. I'm gonna clear the board and start over with some other people. So cheers, peeps.
Yeah.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Thank you for having us. It's great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks again, Kay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you as well.
All right, let's. Okay, where is he? Oh, I know why. Right, so. Alright, so I'm now going to bring in some more people. I'm now going to introduce Rory the Fiend.
That's me.
Lux.
That is me.
And Sir Cherno.
Hello.
Hello. So, as I was talking about with Super, with Woomy, and with Wiz, you know, we've been established for a year now. How do you guys feel about the community overall? Cherno, I'm going to start with you.
I think we've honestly got a good thing going here. Our community, it's not the biggest community, but we've got, you know, we've got a good community here. The people the people in here talk and engage, and people are constructive with each other and help each other. It's all you really want, you know.
Yeah.
People are nice, people are welcoming. It's like one of the warmer communities I've joined.
That's good to hear. How about you, Lux?
Oh, well, I mean, I've surprisingly, it's like something I feel I keep forgetting. It's that I've actually only been here for like 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
I joined back in May, I believe, May the 5th. Which, you know, it's not a long time, but I honestly feel like I've been a part of this community forever. Really, it's been sort of so welcoming that you just kind of forget like that you are sort of a newcomer to all this. Like everything just seems so familiar.
Yeah. I suppose that's good in a sense, because, you know, even if you're a newbie coming into the community, the fact is we're all welcoming. You know, we want people to have a good time. We're quite chilled over things. You know, we're good with banter and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I joined the Nexus before I joined PuyoGB. But I joined the Nexus before I joined like PuyoGB, and when you join that one, it's just so big. There's so much stuff there. Now you can't even type in the general chat when you first join, which I mean I guess is standard for most Discord servers. But I still haven't said like much on that server because it's just sort of so big and there's so much going on. When it comes to PuyoGB, it's just sort of. Well, I mean, I'd say it's still quite big, but it's smaller. Everything seems so much more simple. I feel a lot more confident, like talking to people here. You know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. How about you, Rory?
Well, as Lux was saying, since I'm in the English Puyo community and it's so big and it's kind of hard to get a personal connection when it's that big. But that's obviously a byproduct of expanding to a certain size. But everyone here, all the moderators, all the staff members, myself included, it's all really friendly. I just thought of, like, when I think of Kay, I'm thinking, you know, that grandma that makes you a lot of food and makes sure that you've got enough, you know, always gives you large portions.
Are you implying that I'm old? I know I am, but, you know.
I was just implying the friend. You can take from that what you want, Kay. I'm not saying.
I'm joking, lad.
Every aspect of the grandma. Well, I wasn't. I mean, I joined this community end of February when PBTPC came out, and within a month, you know, we were doing Power Tour. Was like in a month, but like within that time, I was already feeling really comfortable in that server. I'm quite a shy individual, but once I warm up, well, it didn't take long in this server because I felt really welcoming, and honestly, it's like my favorite server to be in now and just be active in.
Oh, that's high praise. Thank you.
I love interacting with all the people in here and getting new people involved. I love how some of my in real life friends now have joined the server and are actively interested in playing Puyo. I'm glad it exists, and I don't know. Well, I do know what I'd be doing if PuyoGB didn't exist. I'd just be playing Puyo with like my one Puyo friend and nothing else, and I wouldn't have anyone really to talk about Puyo with. But it's a good outlet. It's only on the up and up, Kay.
I thought you were about to mention the forbidden game right there.
No.
No, I would never. But yeah, I love this community, and everyone in it are sweethearts, and hopefully we get more sweethearts in here. Oh. So there we have it. You right, Kay? What's
Just
going
had
on?
to, just had to sort stuff out. Anyway, yeah. So I what I suppose what I want to talk about with you guys in particular. We have all attended events. You know,
That is a true fact.
we have all been able to attend events. Like Chono's been lucky enough to attend a couple of events. But I want to get first of all, Rory, your perspective on the events that we've had, in particular at MCM Manchester. How did you find the overall experience?
Well, Kay, it was the highlight of my entire existence. I mean, no, it might be a bit of a hyperbolic statement. No, it was amazing. Like, being able to meet all of you guys who I've been talking to for several months at that point. Being able, well, having a stand that we were at for the whole time. I didn't really care too much about the rest of the convention. I was so content just helping out at the stand and showing people how to play Puyo. And the tournaments we had, getting a large group of people just surrounding our stand waiting to play it. I'm making some friends. I hadn't really gone to many conventions before that. I'd gone to like one or two, and they were fun, but MCM Manchester was like the pinnacle, in my opinion, of, for me personally, on what I thought conventions can do for me. Just being able to see everyone and promote Puyo is something that, to my core, deeply satisfied me. It was just an awesome experience, and I would have gone to the London one, but I literally could not. My parents refused, but I know.
Oh well.
Remember we were talking about that? And
Yeah, I do.
And I was saying how, oh, okay, can you lodge me?
Yeah. Oh well. There will be other times. I mean, I suppose you know, I'm going to give a bit of a shout out to NGI, because next year's Revolution that'll happen in London is going to feature Poo Poo Tetris, so that's going to be cool.
That's gonna be awesome.
So yeah, road to Revo and all that whatnot, if you will. That'll be cool.
I mean, I'll be trying to get to as many tournaments as I can.
Oh yeah, please do. I'll come back to you in a second, Rory, because I want to ask you about the other league, as it were. Lux, you've attended an event. You've even done some commentary for the VOD. How did you find Play Expo, but as a Puyo, or rather as a member of PuyoGB? How did you find the whole experience of being at an event?
Well, it was actually the second convention I'd ever been to. The first one was Hyper Japan, but there was no Puyo stuff going on there, unfortunately.
Yeah, still working on it.
but the Play Expo, I was like, because once again, I was quite alien to the whole experience and stuff. But I wouldn't say I felt uncomfortable like during the thing. It was actually really fun. The convention itself was quite nice, and it was good to see lots of people like taking an interest, like even young kids taking an interest in the thing that we had set up, you know, the PlayStations, and with Puyo Puyo Tetris playing on it. I also quite enjoyed the little tournament that we did there. I enjoyed getting destroyed by Ekans. That was very fun.
Yeah, that actually happened.
I'm so glad that the bracket put me up against him. That was great. But yeah, overall, it was just a brilliant experience. Getting to meet everyone, getting to meet Cherno, getting to meet you.
Not met me.
Well, not yet, thankfully.
Oh wow.
I'm kidding, Rory.
Oh, no.
But and you know, like also get to meet Crumpet as well.
Your fate is sealed.
Yeah, Crumpton was there as Chopin. That was incredible.
Yeah, I got to meet him formally this time because I think I might have played Smash with him at Hyper Japan, but like we didn't acknowledge each other's. It was weird.
Yeah, it's like the reunion after the fact that you have met before, but you've never realised it.
I've met Crumptane, but I had no idea I met Crumptane. But
yeah,
overall, yeah, it wasn't as big as I'm sure MCM Manchester was, but as like a Puyo event, I thought it was very good, very fun.
Cool.
And I'm hoping to attend Insomnia 64 and just any other events in.
Oh yeah.
London.
Anyone that's watching this podcast, whether it's the live stream or the VOD, as you see within the slideshow, we do have a screenshot of our coffee page. You can visit us at ko-fi, that is coffee.com/PuyoGB. If you want to donate to help us get to events like Insomnia or something a bit more closer to where you are, any kind of donation would be magnificent, and we will love you forever if you're able to help us out. You're not obliged to do so, but we will be indebted if you do. So head on over to our coffee page.
Not obliged, but you will be kicked out the server.
No, we're not like that, Rory. No, that's bad.
Kidding.
Yeah. Anyway, which any of you guys can help us out would be brilliant. I suppose now I'm gonna come to Cherno because you've done 2 events.
I have.
I know that you did Play Expo, but you also did MCM Manchester, as did Rory. What was your? How can you compare both events?
I'd say generally in the actual scale of the setup, there was a lot more. You know, Play Expo, there was the interesting setup of having, like, I think we had 3 or 4 setups. So there were always people trying the game. There was always people to talk to. At MCM, we definitely like gathered a crowd with people wanting to try the game because they'd been interested from seeing other people playing, and presumably from our stand with our signs that I'm proud to say I did a very good job of maintaining.
Yeah, they kept falling down every 5 minutes. It's hilarious. Sticky back plastic does not work on. Sticky back tape does not work on felt. Simple as that.
But yeah, the actual event though, Play Expo, they both felt personal in a way. Whereas like the events themselves were large. MCM Manchester was huge. There was so much stuff. It was like a constant sea of people. It almost felt like, except in the early morning. It was really interesting to see, like, just so many people gathering for all of these, you know, these different interests, and yet so many people were willing to try something. They were willing to try something that they hadn't tried before. Something new, I think the word is. But and especially not to discredit the game or anything, I found it really interesting even, but I don't know, we still managed to get a constant crowd of people with Super Puyo Puyo too, which you know, I think it's a really, you know, it's nice to see people still interested in trying retro games. I suppose, older games, giving it a shot for the actual I'm supposed to be talking about the event and not the game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it happened at the event. Mind you, I'm gonna just touch on that for a minute. I think one of the greatest things that happened during the event, especially when we were running Puyo Puyo 2, is we had a Dr. Eggman cosplayer come by. And I made the mention that Dr. Robotnik had just come by, and he looked back and he's like, it's like me being machine. He's like, nah, it's a fake game. Oh, it just made me laugh. It's not the real thing.
It just shouts like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
And you know, and he was gracious enough to take a picture with Wooby's Carbuncle plush. I mean,
yeah, he was a great sport.
Crushing Carbuncle's skull.
It's just the fact that I went full on grounder as well, and he said that was terrible. That made my day.
Are we able to see this picture on the official PuyoGB Twitter page?
It is on the Twitter page. I'm sure I put it up there.
There somewhere.
It's on there somewhere.
I remember seeing it.
I'll have a look.
Anyway, so yeah, so I actually want to talk about some of the other events that we did, in particular the PuyoGB League. Now, the three of you have taken part in the PuyoGB League. I know Cherno has been an adjudicator, and Lux has also been an adjudicator. So people that
not officially, but I was.
well, yeah,
Given the role.
A mini adjudicator.
Oh,
you know,
backup adjudicator.
I was always there on standby.
Yeah. How did you guys feel about the league overall? Let's get your thoughts on that.
Well,
who are we asking first?
Chano, you go first again.
Yeah, Chano can go first.
Okay. Yeah, no, generally overall I enjoyed the league. There were like, there were a few kinks in it, mostly to do with timing, I would say. But generally speaking, I think the league was a lot of fun. I got to play against a lot of people I hadn't played against before. I mean, everyone did. Everyone got to play against new people as it Rory?
What?
I think league talk is illegal. Boom, boom.
What?
We just hear sirens in the background. Anyway, yeah. So going back to the topic on point. You know, the league and all that whatnot. In terms of playing, yeah. How about adjudicating, Cherno?
Adjudicating kind of shone a whole new light, I think. Gave me a whole other perspective of what it can be like to be involved in an event like that. Having the responsibility of recording people's games and making sure people played their games properly. It's not. Honestly, it was really interesting because, again, it meant I got to see even more people's games, which meant seeing even more people who hadn't played each other before. And I think I honestly learned a lot about Puyo just from watching people play. It was like, yeah, no, I generally enjoyed adjudicating, actually.
Cool.
Aside from a few technical difficulties I was having towards the end.
Yeah.
Because my computer was getting a bit dusty, but that problem should be solved now. Should be.
All right. How about you, Lux?
What as the
both
player or as an adjudicator?
Both player and standby adjudicator, but definitely as a player.
Well, I presumably, what do I mean presumably? I will have a lot more to say as a player because I've played. But as I think the league was handled perfectly fine. I can't think of many sort of issues with it. But there was that whole apparently midway through that I didn't really think felt like it was just sort of a bit or enjoy being able to play all these different people who I would have had probably would have had no idea about. See, like learning about different play styles or the league. Actually, if you watch my league things, you'll see that I use. That's it. I don't extend at all.
Yeah, just base GTR.
I use the Puyo. It forced me to like learn and get better. I've seen my improvement in how I've been playing. You know, I would say, well, it's all thanks. It actually gave me a reason to like very good at the game. As an adjudicating, I didn't really think was much of a hassle. It was only really did Switch games because I didn't record PC ones. I think that would be like worse on my PC. But yeah, overall that was fine. Once again, just see firsthand how different people play. The good thing to do for learning different strategies and stuff. It's like this. I've been watching a lot of Chemistry and Kumachom as well because they have some very interesting play styles when it comes to just when it comes to competitive Puyo. So yeah, overall, I would say that it's been a particularly, I guess, enlightening experience more than anything.
Okay, Rory, how about you?
Well, I personally had a lot of fun with the league. I just enjoy going against a bunch of players who I've never played against before, and just seeing how everyone plays and just their techniques and that. Like I found it really fun playing against the Misanthrope because he does really fast small chains. A quick zing. So it was fun playing against him because I had to keep me on my toes. So I had to pay attention to him and remember when to react and that. Because if I wasn't paying attention, I just pile up and yeah. So I don't know. I'm always down for a Puyo battle. So a league is quite enticing for me.
Yeah. I mean, you finished top of this league. You won the whole thing. You didn't drop a single... Well, you drew one game, but you didn't lose one at all.
That's the cherry on top, isn't it, Kate?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good players. So...
You ready for Season 2, mate?
I was born ready.
Nice. And I'm sure the rest of you guys are going to be there as well to take part in Season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Isn't Season 2 going to be starting next year?
Yeah, we'll open up, it will start next year. We'll open up sign-ups a little later on. We've got enough feedback from people that have taken part, so we know where the shortfalls are and how to improve on them, and we know what actually works, and we're going to carry on with that.
There you go.
So yeah, it's gonna be mega, as they say.
Yeah. It's gonna be mega.
Yeah, gonna be mega.
The first league was already great, so this one could only get better.
Yeah, and of course you're not playing like against 30 other people. Now that we got the tiers split, everything will just work. Or should do. Touch wood, it does. Sorry?
Is Wiz still gonna be doing it?
Yeah, Wiz is still gonna be in.
All right. Just because he said he was retiring.
Yeah, he was retiring or something.
Yeah, I think he's just a bit worn out with.
It's the competitive side, isn't it?
He's obviously just bitter that he lost to me.
he can still take you out at a moment's notice, though.
Esports will probably revitalise him.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely a top player. Like, I mean, I'm hoping that other top players like Gruffin and Roy take part as well.
Yeah.
Ekans also, although I feel, yeah, definitely.
Triple threat.
We definitely need a Roy versus Rory match in the next league. That's for certain.
I've had plenty of matches against Roy.
Yes, but this will be the definitive.
Roy absolutely, because it's for the league.
Yeah.
You know, your tournament seedings at place here.
For all the glory.
Yes.
No pressure.
All glory, no Rory. Oh wait, hang on, no, sorry. I suppose actually, I want to get a couple more viewpoints from a couple of other people. So I'm just going to wrap this up real quick. Apologise I haven't given you as much time as I have the others, as it were.
It's almost 10 o'clock, mate. Don't worry about it.
Okay, there's that. So I suppose final words really about the year and the year we've had and what you hope for the future. Rory, I'll start with you first.
Final thoughts on the year. In terms of my Puyo career, in terms of my activity in the Puyo community, this has been by far the best year. Obviously, again, just being able to talk to all these Puyo people, all the Puyo peeps, and being able to play against a wide variety of players instead of just me playing the same few people I knew played Puyo beforehand. I've got a much wider audience for who I can play against. And for the future, I mean, okay, all I can hope is that PuyoGB keeps on expanding, esports gets a Western release, and
Yeah, we all want that.
you know, we all start picking up more steam, and just, you know, go on the up and up.
Brilliant. Cheers, man. Lux, how about you?
Yeah, 2018 has been a bloody fantastic year, I would say. I mean, like I said, I've only been here for like 4 months, but they've been a really good 4 months, and let's just hope that 2019 is even better.
There you go.
Cool, cool. All right, Cherno, final words from you.
Honestly, phenomenal. Considering, like, it seems so weird to me when I found out this community was only a year old, because I joined in the middle of February, so like a bit before Rory did, around that sort of a time. It seems so much older than that. By the growth of the community, everyone feels so tightly knit in here. And if we can keep that going, this, like, I love this community. I honestly do. It's good year.
No, amen to that. I hope that we also continue to expand, because we've got the foundation. We're pretty much at 100 British players, which is, you know, in itself, that's amazing. Hopefully we can get some more, and, you know, if we're able to hit the big events like Insomnia, like another MCM, or, you know, EGX or something like that, you know, try and aim high, see what we can get into.
We're not going to be finished until we get Puyo as a household name.
And indeed as an esport, you know.
Yeah, totally, man.
Maybe Puyo will become an esport with the release
It already
of
is.
esports.
Yeah, well, one hopes, one hopes. Okay. All right, that'll do nicely. So I'm going to ask a couple of other people to come into the voice chat, and I'll get their thoughts as well. So thanks very much, Cherno. Thanks, Lux, and thanks, Rory.
No problem, man.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, catch you guys later.
I'll catch you later.
Catch you later.
Okay.
All right, let's get the other guys in now and just get their. I hear a booming signal. Hello, man. All right, let's see if I can get you in. Flair. Oh, hey, Flair. Nice to have you along.
Yeah, how's my volume? Am I loud enough?
Yeah, no, I can hear you just fine.
Alright.
And I suppose if Steph comes in, then we'll get Steph's opinions as well. So I'm gonna start off first of all with you, Booming. How have you found PuyoGB as a community?
Personally speaking, I found the community.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Steph.
Oh, everyone's so quiet. One sec. Why is everyone so quiet? There we go. I can hear you all now.
Cool.
I personally found it a pleasant and friendly experience, unlike a few other experiences I've had online with the what's the word I'm looking for? Massive organizations surrounding a singular communities. That's the word I'm looking for. Unlike other communities or other games I've been in, PuyoGB so far has been a pleasant and friendly experience, especially the regulars. That's what I'm looking for. The people that are pretty much around every day.
I'm glad that you find that the community to be very very open and you know friendly and welcoming. I mean that's all good. I suppose for context, Booming and especially Flair, because you guys are overseas community members. You guys are not from the UK. Booming, you are from Croatia, and Flair's from the United States. In one sense, some people might find like the whole British humour or the British psyche to be a bit off-putting.
No, personally, I had no problems with British humor. In fact, in most cases, it's actually been not very humorous, but really, it's been a fun experience. It's banting around, as is said around here. It really.
A very questionable humor.
Hey man, sometimes you need that type of humor. Sometimes it's
True.
sometimes it's really what you need to relax.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. Steph, I'm going to come to you next, I think. You've joined our community after meeting us at MCM Manchester.
Yes.
So, how did you feel about coming to the stand to begin with and playing Puyo first of all, and then joining our community from the stand? Like, talk to me about that process. As you're someone who's from the outside, who's come to the stand, you've obviously enjoyed what we've done, and you've become part of our community that way.
Mhm. Well, obviously, like I bought Puyo Tetris on PC. Couple of 4 Manchester, and so I started playing that, and I was streaming it. And then, so obviously, when I saw you guys had it, I was like, "Oh my god, yes, I can play this game! It's a game I've played before! Yay!"
I hear a ringtone.
I hear. There we go. Yeah, so it's the game that I've played before. So it was like I really wanted to play it again because it's like I've not played games all weekend. I want to play a game because we left. So I was like, I just want to play a game, and it's a game, and it's like, yes, I like this game, I know this game, it's cool, and you guys are like so welcoming as well. Like, you made me feel like I was just like at home playing the game.
That's great to hear, actually. So yeah, that's brill. That's brill. Okay, gonna pass this over to Flair. You know, you joined PuyoGB as an overseas Puyo fan. How have you found the community overall? That's if you heard me.
I'm sorry, what?
By the way.
Oh, there.
I'm sorry, what happened? I had a phone call.
Oh, that's okay. I was just saying, as an overseas member, you joined PuyoGB. How have you found the whole experience overall with the community?
I'll be perfectly honest, this is the first time I've ever felt welcome in a community.
Aww.
It's like, I mean, with the Puyo community specifically, because I'm kind of different from everyone else in a sense, because I don't really focus much on the competitive aspects. I don't focus on Puyo Quest or anything like that. What I'm most interested is the historic aspect. Like, I've mentioned this several times in the past, but
yeah, you're more into the whole canon, the lore, the storyline, the foundation of Mado Monogatari, which is the dungeon crawler RPG game from which Puyo is founded upon.
What the shit?
Whoa.
Apologize on that
Whoops.
side.
Anyway, yeah. So carry on, Flair.
That was.
Oh, anyway, back on topic. Yes, I'm interested in the lore. I'm interested in Madame Monogatari and the disc station and Puyo Puyo and how it all comes together, compiles general history and how it rose and fell. And it's not just with Puyo Puyo either. I'm kind of a general enthusiast with like all sorts of like old consoles and games and stuff like that. Like Sega in particular is like one of my favorite companies, so I'm an enthusiast for stuff like that type of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, because of all this, I'm kind of in a completely different, what's the right word? Like position, league, something like that.
I'd say you got a different interest within the core series. and it could be argued as being a bit niche, if you will, because, you know, I'm more an advocate for the competitive game, but I love the game series as a whole, so I will push Puyo out the door to the rafters, because I just love the game and the puzzle aspect. There's people that enjoy the game from a more casual perspective, they just play with friends or what have you, and then you have people who are interested in the lore and the story, which is, you know, where you fit in.
Yeah, not just the lore and story, but the history. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
like there's actually quite a lot for something. It's kind of deceptive in a weird way. It's like you would think such a simple puzzle game would just be, you know, pretty straightforward, but no, it's not. And that's kind of what makes me fascinated by all this. It's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
like there's not a beginning, middle, and end. There's like a beginning, and then there's a divergent, and then there's like a rise, a fall, and like there's a change in like a change of tone, and like there's the awkward periods where they don't know what to do with the series, like with Sega now getting in, don't know what the hell they're doing, and then they reboot the whole thing, and then they go back, and then they like try sort of again, and then they, you know, do the whole Tetris thing, and then they do a bunch of whole experimentation that honestly didn't work most of the time, but it's still interesting anyway.
Yeah, it's a nice perspective to have on the whole thing. It's like, you know, they've done this, it didn't quite work, they've done this, it has worked, but from one side of things it's not brilliant, and they've gone back to something that's tried, tested and true. You know, I mean, you can't fault Sega for trying to quote unquote reinvent the game, because, you know, they've taken a concept from Compile. They have essentially made it their own, and it's good that they've made it their own, but for the old Compile fans it's not quite the same. So at least you're not afraid to say, well, as a Compile fan, people might be feeling like this or feeling like this about the newer kind of things, and I think as a perspective that should be an opinion that should be respected. You know, not everyone's going to agree with it, of course. You know, but it's certainly a valid opinion.
Yeah, personally speaking, I kind of find Sega's interpretation to be a downgrade in a lot of ways, but I think that's mainly because they don't have the same backbone as they used to. Like, it's hard to explain. It's like, it was with Puyo Puyo, it's not just the game, its franchise itself, but they also had a backbone with, like, Disc Station and Monogatari and, like, all those light novels and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, it was pretty big business, Puyo. They hedged all their bets on Puyo, and, you know, in a kind of way, it ultimately led to their downfall, but it was also the creation of the main Puyo metagame in Japan, you know, Ajpa, for example. That came through Compile.
And it's like with Sega, I don't get quite the same impression. It's like they get some clever ideas, but then they don't, like, follow up on them.
They do seem to be doing that now, though, which is good. You know, the whole Puyo esports scene, it's modern, yeah, it might not be the same as what it was 20 years ago, but the fact it's modern, it is in tune with what the top Japanese players want to do, and it is very well supported, so, you know, power to them, and hopefully it continues.
Yeah, the main benefit of Puyo Puyo esports is that it's a very cheap game, and it's readily available on modern systems, so you can easily get it if you want to. And plus, it's region free, so even in the worst case scenario, you can easily get it.
Yeah, it's not like the 3DS where it's you know, your stuff, because Puyo Chronicle is Japan only.
The only gripe is that for long-time veterans, like the more casual crowd, they may not see the appeal of the game. Like, let me explain. It's like, pretty much every Sega game has both feeder and Sue rules at the bare minimum. So if you're like a casual fan and if you play through the rest of the games or haven't, there's like pretty much, you know, better options. But for competitive players, this is a pretty big boon because it's probably going to be the most easily accessible Puyo Puyo game, like for competitive players. Like if you just want to pick it, like if you just want the Sue rules, or to a lesser degree the feeder rules, you can easily just get it. Like, that's not a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sure. I think my only criticism, like genuine criticism, is why are the quest characters there? I'll be perfectly blatant.
I think we can save that for another discussion entirely. I kind of want to get some final thoughts from you guys anyway, because I need to disappear pretty soon. It's a shame starting a little bit late, as it were. But first of all, 3 people that are here, you are on the staff panel, which is really cool. So Steph, you know, you did the interview to become a writer, and you were successful in writing. Oh, she's not here anymore. Okay, never mind. Anyway, yeah. So Steph's on the staff panel as a writer, so she'll be writing articles for the PuyoGB blog. Flair also be writing articles for the PuyoGB blog. Just very quickly, Flair, what is it that you're going to contribute to for the PuyoGB website and blog?
Well, that I already mentioned it. It's the history aspect. Like, I already have my own little series going on. My first article was about Monogatari for the Sega Saturn, and basically it's going to be a series of articles under the title Puyo Museum that's going to discuss miscellaneous aspects about the past, like compiles, contributions with merchandising and light novels and that type of stuff, and like maybe official tournaments, and of course the games themselves, because there's honestly quite a lot to discuss. It's not that straightforward, actually.
No, indeed. And Booming, you're a moderator for the PuyoGB Discord. So, as a moderator, how do you find the Discord to be in terms of a place to moderate and the members that are there? Like, from a moderator's perspective.
Strictly from a moderator's perspective, it is a excellent start. None of the users that are in the server have caused much trouble at all, or even have not caused trouble, full stop. There have been a couple of instances where the moderators had to step in for various reasons, but all in all, the server is very calm. It's workable. That's the number one priority for any moderator. It's manageable. The word I'm looking for is manageable.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a very manageable server, and our 5-person staff, actually, considering we consist of 2 administrators and 3 moderators, is a very vast task force, so to speak, and also throughout many time zones. I mean, I myself am Central European. Keiko is it's East America.
No, Western America. It'd be Pacific that Keiko's at.
And
yeah.
Ziplet is Pacific Japan. It's really a broad spectrum of time zones, which in a way gives us no time for error. There's always going to be at least one moderator around.
Yeah, the spread of that is actually really good for us, because you know, there'll always be a moderator around, a staff member around to help with any new people that come in. If you join the Discord, it's always customary for us to ask whether you are a British player in the UK and what official games that you own, because this allows us to assign you roles for the community so that you can take part in free play events and tournaments as well.
Especially if the tournaments are more local, which is why we prioritize on the British the British players' role. Really, as well. On another note, the whole role system for the server is a very convenient way of first determining where our broad community, on what platforms our community mostly plays. It gives us insight on what some of our community members do, which is why we have the artist role, the streamer's role, and well, I would say the writers' role, but that is the.
Yeah, we still have people who are writers. Yeah, not just PuyoGB writers, but you know, like people like Misanthrope. They are freelance. Well, he is a freelance game journalist, so you know he does writing as well. And Flair too for Sega Biz.
Yes. Yeah, I'm actually writing for multiple sites.
Yeah, so you're very busy as a writer. To be fair, that's cool.
Yeah, that's kind of a double-edged sword because it means one hand I'm always busy, but the other hand I'm always like available. It's kind of like a paradox. It's hard to explain.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that is, yeah. I suppose you've got plenty to research, so it always keeps you entertained.
Alrighty then. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say. Just a final word ready before we wrap up. How do you envisage PuyoGB in the near future?
Well, I just hope it expands further because I think this has a lot of potential to grow, not just like beyond even the competitive stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just in general, be a great community for Puyo Puyo players.
Yeah, here. Booming, final word from you.
On the same topic, personally, I hope, and second, I am sure that PuyoGB will continue to grow. It is a number one. The community as a whole is always friendly. There hasn't been any infights or anything of such within the community. There's always somebody who's willing to help someone new, or in the case of another player being misguided in their play, there's always going to be another person telling them, oh hey, you could do this differently.
Yeah, there's always that support there from people who
team playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really one of our aces up the sleeve. Number two, the community is still fresh. We've only been out here for a year.
1 year.
Yeah, literally just a year.
Just a year, and we've collected around 200 to 300 members. At least.
I think last count 191, where 102 of them I think are UK players, so that's good going.
Yeah, precisely.
And keep in mind that PuyoGB is officially sponsored by Sega of Europe. You said, right?
Yeah, we're endorsed by them.
Which is actually a significant deal because that means you're gonna get, support and all that from an official company.
Yeah, I was mentioning earlier, Ibrahim Bhatti, who is the community manager for Sega Europe, has been terrific for us. He's helped promote our tournaments. He's been there to give us prizes to winners of our tournaments. We've had proper Sega prizes for the MCM tournament, which has been brilliant, and we are indebted to him and Sega Europe for their kindness and their support. So long may that continue, and hopefully if we get another large event, let's say, if we're able to get Insomnia 64 on the go, if we have official Sega people come up to help run the event or oversee the event, that would just be the ultimate, really.
Yes, as I was going to say, another one of our key points is the fact that we are, well, I would say sponsored, but as the proper word will be endorsed by Sega of Europe, which by all means is not a small thing. Being endorsed by the company that owns your games is a huge step for any community, especially one of our size. It's only a short tail way that we will grow as a community.
Absolutely.
And number two, that we might also influence when we grow large enough. We might even have influence in how the games will develop. Which is, I'm sure Sega knows that much of development in the game also requires some insight of what the player base is like. So
absolutely,
having a community that can in a way partner up with the game making company
to help push the game, get its reach.
To push the game further, precisely. To help push the game further is a huge step, and I am more than happy to be part of this community.
Well, I'm glad that both of you enjoy the community. You find it very, welcoming, and that you enjoy your time. That's great for me as the front man and leader of the community. The fact that we've got this community that you guys enjoy and you want to stick around for, that's brilliant. So I want to say thank you to you both for being honoured members of the community.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure. Honestly, I want to contribute more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Well, that's great to hear. I'm sure your Puyo Museum articles will continue to garner hits and open people's eyes to the other side of Puyo, which is, again, the history. Because I think it's important that we honour the history and we respect the history, because it's all well and good that we have people, new people playing with Sega games. That's great, but if you go back to the original compile games and you look at the history there, the rich history that's there, and you have a deeper appreciation for the game, that just helps everyone. So
yes, it just helps everyone in general,
Yeah, absolutely.
And
well,
I feel like, in context, I feel is very important for a type of series like this that's primarily in Japan,
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure we'll all look forward to that. Gentlemen, Flair, Boomy, thank you very much for your words and support.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for the time in the podcast.
Yes, you're very welcome. Okay, I'm just going to wrap up the podcast. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I'll catch you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Alright, so just to wrap up this podcast, the 1 year anniversary podcast, it's been absolutely fantastic to have been a part of this community myself, and I'm so glad that the fire had been reignited within me and I was able to lay the foundation for this community. So I'm going to extend my thanks to Wiz, to Woomy, to Super Frio, to Rory the Fiend, to Lux, to Sir Cherno, and of course to Flair Habanero and to Booming Signal for their kind words and thoughts on this podcast. Thank you to everyone who has been graffitiing in the comments section. It's great that we've got a little bit of banter going on as well. Also want to say a big thank you to the following people. I'm going to start off with Andy Brown of Replay Events. They helped us get in for Geek and for Play Expo London. So Replay Events and obviously the Geek team as well, all the guys there. Thank you very much for allowing us a break. Huge thanks obviously goes to Matty Woods of MCM, who was able to get us a stall at MCM Manchester. I mean, that was absolutely brilliant. Top man. Thank you very much for all your help and support. Obviously, a huge thank you to Adam Wen, the Misanthrope, valued member of the PuyoGB community. The interview that he had with me, or rather I had with him, which was posted on Kotaku UK, kind of opened up the scope a bit more, and it obviously grabbed the attention of Ibrahim Bhatti, and I want to say a huge thanks to Ibs and to Sega Europe for their continued support and endorsement. It means a lot to us that, this young community, this ambitious community that has optimism to help, or rather to bring Puyo to the masses within the UK. It's been absolutely brilliant, and your support and efforts are, we are so humbled and so blessed to have you help us. So that's going to be it from me. This is Blue Hair K signing out. Once again, if you want to help us out, trying to get to events and whatever, we have a coffee page. Head on to ko-fi.com/PuyoGB. You can donate whatever you want. You can see the details on screen right now. You don't have to do it, but if you do help us out in any way, shape or form with a donation, we would be utterly, well, we'd love you to the moon and back. We really would. We'd be so grateful. And thank you very much if you do pledge your support. That means a lot to us. And of course, swing by our website, PuyoGB.co.uk. You can follow us at Twitter at PuyoGB. And also we have a Discord, so feel free to stop on by, come and join our Discord. We accept all people worldwide. I mean, more power to you if you're a UK player, because we are going to be posting news about events that are happening in the UK. And of course, we'll be bringing up news on the second season of the PuyoGB League in the near future. So thanks very much for listening to People Ramble On. This will be Blue Hair K signing out. Have a good one, and one last thing from me I'd say is on Thursday the 25th of October I will be doing a Puyo Puyo Esports release day stream. So please look forward to that. Okay guys, thanks very much. Have a good one.